Um, if you start any interaction in a friendly way, you're always going to get better results than if you start neutral, if you start rude. That's just a no-brainer. Start with questions the other person will answer yes to. Okay, so this applies probably more than sales. You don't have to do this with your friends, but in sales, this is what we call a yes ladder. So you're like, well, wouldn't you like to make more money, John? Okay, well, if you could make an extra $10,000 a month, would you be interested in that? He's going to say, yeah, So you're getting yes ladder, you're getting compliance. The more compliance you have, the more momentum you have in that social interaction. Number 6, let the other person do a great deal of the talking. He's applying this to sales, but I'm applying that to anything else. Like I said, on a date, you want the girl to do most of the talking. You want to ask her enough questions that she's doing most of the talking, okay? Which is contradictory to the vast majority of the pickup artist stuff out there. You don't have to run flashy type of crazy game. You're on the date making that girl feel comfortable, okay? And the way she feels comfortable is by opening up to you and then you listening to what she's saying and asking engaged questions back, okay? Number 7, this is a great one that I didn't start doing until a couple years ago. Let the other person feel the idea is his or hers. So if you're working on a project together or whatever, and you're brainstorming on an idea and you bring it up at a meeting or whatever, say John had a great idea about this and that guy's going to love you forever. He's going to love you. Or you're working with one of your employees and you're talking about something, and then you say, you know what, man, that's a great idea. Let's move forward with John's idea, right? And every time you bring it up, it's John's idea. That guy's going to love you forever, okay? Because it's such a valuation of what he's doing. Number 8, try honestly to see things from other people's point of view. This only makes sense. If you want to influence someone, you have to know what they're thinking. If you're just trying to railroad your view over them, then you're doing a shit job of influencing, that's for sure. Number 9, be sympathetic with the other person's ideas and desires. That relates to number 8. Number 10, appeal to the nobler motives. So everyone likes to be glorious in their own eyes. So like if you're doing something together, if you're trying to build something big together, you don't want to sell the dream, but you want to be able to show that there's a difference being made. Like I was talking to Matt who does my books, and he's going to do my video courses for me, and I just said I probably made 15% more because you did all the covers for me. That's how good your artwork was, and I get compliments on it all the time. And from the thousands of books or whatever that I've sold, all those books changed somebody's lives. If the guy implemented that, and you're a part of that because you co-created that. And he just sort of stood there for a second. He's like, wow, I never thought about that. I was like, yeah, that karma is going to come back to you too because you were involved in the creation of that. And that's a fact. And I didn't have to say that, but we were just talking about it and it came to me, and immediately, he was happy about it because he hadn't even thought that. It was just a project that he did, he made the money, and then probably moved on to the next one. But when you're able to do that, it just adds a whole dimension to your influence. Okay. Number 11, dramatize your ideas. Again, if you're really bringing someone on board for something big, you want to be able to give them a vision of what's going on. Not dream selling. Okay, dream selling like where you're fucking lying and it's just a sandcastle. But like, here's how I think it's gonna look, and here's why I think it's gonna be great for you to be a part of that, and really like flesh out the idea in like a big picture, okay? That's really a powerful thing to do. And number 12 is throw down a challenge. This is the thing that motivates people, is the game, or the challenge to prove their worth. Something me and my friends have been doing. We've been doing these accountability challenges with money behind it, and it's a good way to keep people accountable. So lastly is be a leader, how to change people without giving offense or arousing resentment. And a lot of this stuff has been covered a little bit. So number 1 is begin with praise and honest appreciation. Number 2 is call attention to people's mistakes indirectly. Again, not breaking rapport. Number 3, talk about your own mistakes before criticizing the other person. This is a great thing to do. It's part of what I call the shit sandwich, which is like a compliment, then the problem, then another compliment. So you've got the shit in the middle. And in those compliments, you can say like, I don't always do this right, or I know that there's a lot of work to be done and you're doing a great job, but we have a little problem here. And if you could just clear that up, that would be awesome, because I know that I love working with you, and I know that you've been doing so much great work. I'd love to have, this back to where we were before. That type of a way to handle a problem is the best way to handle it. Ask questions instead of giving direct orders is awesome. I never ask a girl like, meet me here. I'll say, yeah, why don't you meet me here at 9 p.m. on Monday? That sound good? So it's basically like, it kind of is an order, but it's also phrased in the way that it's a question and it doesn't sound demanding. Okay. So if you're talking with your team, it's like, hey guys, why don't we do this for next Monday? Why don't we get that together? All right. John, can you handle that? Yeah, sure. Will, I can handle that. Instead of, all right, John, get that done for Monday. It's just a softer, nicer way of doing it. Number 5, let the other person save face. Anytime that you can, the last thing that you want to do is embarrass a guy in public. I know that I would never forget it. When I used to work a job, I've had managers that embarrassed me in public in my sales job, and 10 years later, I still remember it. I still remember exactly what happened, right? And truth be told, if I could have got revenge on them, I would have. That's how much people hate being embarrassed in public. So anytime you can let the other person save face is a good idea. You just have to think, well, what does it cost me to let this person save face? Almost always it's nothing, right? You've already talked to them in private about handling the thing. You've done it in the shit sandwich way, compliment, shit, compliment. You don't need to embarrass them any further than that, okay? Praise every improvement. Everything's always about like positive rewards. Again, a lot of this is focused on if you have your own business, but it applies to social situations too. Just everything positive, man. Everything that your man's doing that's better and that's moving forward is just praise, right? Because wouldn't you want him to talk to you the same way? So you give him the treatment that you would want, right? Give the other person a fine reputation to live up to. This is a great way to introduce someone, especially if you're talking to a girl. This is my man Ryan. He's a budding real estate mogul. He's got all this stuff going on. You big him up, man. You make him look good. Everyone around you, right? You make them look good. And by doing that, you make yourself look good too. By making your crew look good, you make yourself look good because you're hanging around all these other winners. Okay. Use encouragement, make the fault seem easy to correct. Again, that's more about positive reinforcement, giving positivity, spread that love, super important. And lastly, make the person happy about doing what you suggest. So